I really enjoy Rambo 3. Yeah, I said it. I know this film is viewed as a huge disappointment, but I believe it to be a cult classic. Please hear me out.
Why must you do this?
Because you do it for me.
Rambo 3.
Of course, I think First Blood is an absolute masterpiece, and Rambo First Blood Part 2 is also a great sequel. What I like about Rambo 3 is it kind of felt like Stallone was just letting loose with the character of Rambo and just wanting to have fun. So I enjoy how it doesn't quite require the huge investment of the first two films. So, you know, it's not as heavy. It's a great sit down and relax film, Rambo 3. You can just transport yourself back to when action movies were completely different. They were crazy, they were insane, they were badass, and we had Sylvester Stallone looking jacked, doing mental shit on camera.
I hope the film succeeds, and the character of Rambo in this one, I think, does win a major moral battle, and he finally comes to terms with what he is. And that to him is a quest that he's had for since the end of Vietnam.
The film is of course set during the Soviet and Afghan War, and Rambo sets out on a dangerous journey to rescue his former commander and longtime best friend Sam Trautman, played by Richard Crenna, and he works with a local band of Afghan rebels to fight against the Soviet forces. This film has Stallone in his prime. What an action legend. It just reminds you of such a different time of action. We do not get people like Sylvester Stallone anymore. You know, you can take films like Rambo 3 for granted, but you get nothing like it today. It just does not exist. You immediately get a stick fight at the start, which shows you this is kind of a different Rambo movie. It's more of a fun set piece. So you get the feeling you're going to have more fun with this one than the first two, even though those first two are incredible films. In this one, it's kind of lightened up a bit. You know, it's still serious stakes, but it's just seeing Rambo being the superhero Rambo. It's like, if you enjoy that, it really works.
In Rambo, the first one, First Blood, it was a very down film. It was a heavy film. There was a great deal of action in it, but the ending wasn't a celebration of life. If anything, it was a kind of document of lost life, lost passion.
I like that this film exists. You get a less raw Rambo film. It's still got loads of crazy stuff and people dying and explosions and shooting. It's just done in more of a popcorn style than the first two. Perhaps this is a more softer Rambo film because we get the relationship between Rambo and one of the Afghan little boys, and he kind of sees himself in him. This boy's obsessed with fighting and standing up for his people, and Rambo just wants to protect him. So you get to see that kind of different vulnerable side of Rambo, where he realises that he doesn't want kids to be put into danger. He doesn't want him to grow up to want to fight because he's seen it all. Every time he looks at him, you can see him becoming him, and he doesn't quite like it, but he knows there might be no way around that. So you get that kind of conflicted relationship, but they don't really go really in depth into the emotional stuff. It's just there enough. Like, the relationship between Rambo and Trautman is just there enough. We know that these two men respect each other. We know these two men are like father and son. We know this, so we don't need loads of that. You know, those first two films had that. They had more dialogue, they had more focus on getting to know Rambo. This was the third film, and we knew who Rambo was, we knew who Trautman was, so we just know that if he's going to rescue him, we just want to see him wipe out a load of bastards and just blow shit up. That's what we want from this movie. Stallone was very at home in the film. He looks badass. It's the biggest he ever was. This was the peak of Sylvester Stallone, and it's a moment in time for this actor. It really, really is.
Who are you? Your worst nightmare.
And Rambo is a very human character because he just loves the everyday. His heart is with the regular. He loves hanging around with regular people and just having a quiet life, funnily enough. Rambo's always looking for a family. He's always looking for somewhere to belong, and that is still part of his character.
He realizes that when he lives in a Buddhist temple, he's at peace there, and he is. But there's also a side to him that needs fulfillment. That's why we open up at the stick fight. He goes back and forth, meandering. So my philosophy is don't deny another aspect of your life just because you want to be considered peaceful. There's also another side that is just as valid, because there's a survival side.
Richard Crenna was again good in the film as Trautman. One of his best lines is in this film. Obviously everyone remembers that line in the first film which says everything about Rambo, delivered by Trautman.
You send that many, don't forget one thing.
What?
A good supply of body bags.
In this film, he actually delivers a line that lives up to that.
Who do you think this man is? God.
Oh, God would have mercy. He won't.
The action is crazy in this. Peter MacDonald shoots it very well. There's lots of spectacle, there's lots of grit, there's lots of practical explosions, shooting guns and blowing up helicopters and tanks, and shooting real weapons. You just don't see these kinds of set pieces anymore. That culmination is absolutely bonkers. It really is. And you just see Rambo going all out. And there are some funny moments that show that they're kind of poking fun at how over the top the film is. Such as when Rambo and Trautman get approached by a new round of the Soviet army.
The choice is yours.
What do you say, John?
Fuck him.
That's hilarious, just to see his reaction be F 'em. I can handle it, I'm Rambo. I don't care if it's the entire Soviet army. He ain't got nothing on me. I don't know, I just had a blast watching this again. I really did. I don't remember it being this good. Maybe it's because I'm getting nostalgic for these sorts of films. I think people should revisit this film to see some real practical action, some really exciting moments. I guess you could say it was a little bit underwritten because the themes don't really go very in depth, but it's not supposed to be that. You know, they just want to give you a few moments here and there and then just focus on the action, then just focus on throwing as much at you as possible and delivering it well, delivering the action well. And that's what Rambo 3 does. It's a very, very well delivered action film from a time that I really, really miss. What do you think of Rambo 3? Do you think this film is underrated? Please subscribe to this channel. We talk about underrated films all the time, classic and cult films, and I will see you guys in the next video.